Hey everybody, my name is Shadow Phoenix. Welcome to another episode of my Dark Souls 3 playthrough. This is the first time I've been playing through the game, and I have chosen to do it possibly in one of the hardest ways ever. The idea here is my ranger character, which is based a little bit on like the D&D ranger. So swords can be used while fighting through the game, but during the boss fights I only plan to use bow and arrow, and that is it. I might use other things like fire bombs or something, but you know, I won't be using swords or axes or anything like that. Just the bow and arrow during the boss fights. Everything else though during the game is fair game. That's my thoughts. You can only carry 198 arrows, so you got to be very, very careful to conserve your ammunition. This is not an easy game, as most of you are aware. And for me to do this during my very first playthrough is, well, it's a wild idea, but I'm having a whole lot of fun with it, and I hope you guys have been enjoying the videos. I know it's been a while since I made my last one, but I've got all this footage, and I just kind of wanted to kind of get started back into this, and I've been playing a lot more lately here as well. So we just beat Vort of the Boreal Valley in the last episode, and here we are. We find ourselves in, I believe this is Undead Settlement, if I'm not mistaken, I think is the name of this area. So you start off at the top of the tower after the gargoyles bring you here, and the first thing you're going to encounter is these dogs here. Now, they're not much. It only takes a couple of hits to get them, but they are quick, so you got to be very, very careful. Like I said, you got to be careful because, you know, you can miss the row shots. And that's one of the beauties of the short bow and the composite short bow, is that they have a thing called the row shot, where you can row and then immediately hit your attack button and get off a shot while you row, depending on which arrow. So you can use right trigger, RB, you know, because I play on the Xbox, so that's my buttons. I probably should have just used the sword here, but this was back early when I first started playing, and my plan was to use the bow as much as possible. I've since abandoned that idea, but I still love to use the bow, but I do use swords and stuff a little bit during the game and things now, more because there's a lot of enemies, and sometimes it's just easier to kill them with the swords. But if I can get a clear shot, I will almost always use that bow, because I love using the bow in just about any game that I play. Everything from Tomb Raider and things like that to Dark Souls, as you can see. This is definitely a challenge. Anybody who has actually played this game, and you know, if you've been through the game a blue million times, you're just looking for something more fun to do, then this is a good way to do it. Try just using the bow and arrow, and fair. Now, even though I'm no stranger to the Dark Souls series, I have completed both Dark Souls 1 and 2, got all the achievements in both games. Like I said, this is my first playthrough of Dark Souls 3. Now, this particular area, I did have some footage of this before. The first time I beat Vort, I kept playing and made it quite far into the area, and that's why you see my bonfire's been lit. Back before you come to the gate, you probably should have went to your left if you're just now in this area, because you can meet Yoria or Yondor or whatever his name is over there, which is a great character to have. He's good for like spells and other such, so he's a good idea to try to grab him right there. I'd already done it though, so there was no point in me doing it in this one. I had made it quite far, and then I got killed by an NPC, so this time around we're going to take our different route when we come to the junction, but that will come here in just a minute. Now, these little guys right here are a pain in the ass. They're quick as can be, and they can really hurt you, and they don't let up on attacks either. They're really again, this is one of those cases where I should have just used a sword, but then again, my sword wasn't very powerful at this point. The arrows would actually do more damage than my swords would, so I guess at this point it was probably better. Now, I should also mention I am a level 25 at this point, I did do a little bit of leveling up since the last time I played, I think. Not by much. I think maybe 1 or 2 levels, but still. For those out there who have never actually played Dark Souls, I would highly recommend it. It is a really, really good series. I was extremely hesitant to play it because of everything I'd heard. I had actually played Demon Souls a long time ago on the PlayStation 3, and it was... I played like just the first part of it, and I was like, screw this game. This game is way too hard. I am not doing this. And then I ended up selling the game, and I didn't really even do very... I didn't get anywhere in the game, but ended up selling it. And then years later, Dark Souls 1 became free on the Xbox 360 as one of their games of the month. So then I kind of started playing it and kind of got into it a little bit. It was quite fun. I did eventually quit though, kind of got stuck on it. And then I got my PlayStation 4, and immediately one of the first games I wanted was Bloodborne because it looked just so good. So I started playing Bloodborne, and that's when a friend of mine, he saw me playing it, and he was like, dude, I really need to beat Dark Souls. I'm like, you know, I do too. We should do a co-op. So we actually ended up starting it that night, and both me and him went through Dark Souls 1. We went through Dark Souls 2. We had another guy helping us. He came along as we were playing Dark Souls 1 and started helping us. And yeah, I mean, I really have been enjoying the game ever since I really started playing it. Now, at this point, you gotta watch, because these guys, they're a mob. So if you get a bunch of them on you, it can be tough. But being a bow character, I can just pick them off one at a time here. And you definitely want to get these guys out of the way before you even start to try to take out that priest over there, because the priestess, she hits hard. Like, really, really, really hard. You don't want to get stuck in an area where it's just like a small area with her. I've been there. It's not something you want to get into. I wasted so much ammo on this guy. I just wasn't wanting to be patient. I was in kind of a hurry, and it's not something you want to do in this game. You do not want to be in a hurry. You want to be patient for everything. Yeah, if she gets in reach of you with that giant staff, she can really lay into you and kill you in just a couple of hits. So you gotta be careful. I made it look easy, but trust me, it is not. And here we are playing Fashion Souls. So I just got some brand new armor, sort of armor. I don't know if you would call that armor, but robes. And I thought, oh, let's check this out. And I was just like, nope, not going to be wearing that. Just decided to stick with my deserter armor, which I think is what I started the game with. You notice a few times the game or the gameplay, the video just kind of lags for a little bit. I'm not sure exactly what happened with that. It seems to be something in the video. See, and that's what you get when you don't pay attention, too. And this right here, this is why I like the bow so much. When you get shots like this, one shot, one kill. Love that. Now, this is where you have a choice. You can go across that bridge that I was just looking at there, or you can go in through that tunnel that I was just at a few moments ago, and over to my left. It's not this way, but over to my left. You can go either way. I went left my first playthrough here, so this time around I'm going to go right. I've never been that direction yet, and I thought, you know, since we lost all that footage of going left, let's go right this time and get some all new footage. And we'll go back that direction later. I'm always on the lookout. I love to explore, so you never know when things are going to be like hidden in corners or anything like that. Plus, I mean, like I said, I love to adventure. I love to explore. I do that in any game that I play. I just kind of take my time and search the area the best I can. Often enough, I do actually miss quite a few things still, even though I am very explorative, but I like it. It's just my kind of game style. This is definitely not a speed run. Now, why I rode from that, I don't know. There was no way that was going to hit me, but I guess precautions, I don't know. You can go left through that door, or you can go right around that corner as well here. Me being the explorer that I am, I decided to take this route. Watching my corners. Being shot by that arrow kind of changed my mind about going that way. I was actually trying to find who it was that shot me. And I thought, well, let's try going this way. Maybe we can take him out here. You can tell I've played a ton of Zelda in my lifetime because I just love to break barrels and pots and everything just to see what's in there. Plus, in this game, you never know. Things can be hidden anywhere. How this little guy carries this big-ass sword, I will never know. These little skinny arms. I don't even see how in the world he could even lift it. Whenever you see something glowing, doesn't always necessarily mean that you should just run and pick it up. Because you could end up almost getting shot like I did just then. You can see I kind of changed my mind about going that direction there. Let's go back and we'll try to figure out, because at that point I was thinking, okay, I've killed the guy that was shooting at me with the arrow there, so... You're wondering, I am using the scimitar at this point. That's my weapon of choice. Look at this guy. He doesn't see me. Ever the explorer, I don't like to hop down to any place where I can't get back up from, that I know I can't get back up from without fully exploring the area. So I knew that if I hopped down there with that guy, I didn't see any way to get back up right away, so... These things right here seem to be very vulnerable to piercing, not so much slashing. I've tried to kill them before with swords, and it doesn't really do a very good job. Obviously, you do not want to jump off there. That is a bit too high. Alright, so let's head back up here, and we're going to go this route. So I usually will not go into a game without knowing a little bit about it before. Like, I'm not blind most of the time. Sometimes I am, but at this point, I kind of had read a little bit ahead, and I knew that there was somewhere in the game where there was a big one of these guys here with the saws carrying an empty cage on his back. And I also knew that all you had to do was go up next to him and then hop in that cage. Now, even though I'd read that, it wasn't exactly committed to memory, so I wasn't sure how it would work or anything, having never done it. I was like, is he going to attack me? Do I just wait? What's going to happen here? Because I knew I needed to be behind him. And of course, also, like a raven, I'm attracted to glowy things, and I really wanted that. I didn't get it though. You know, it was actually way longer after this before I actually found that thing again. Let's see where this goes, shall we? Yes, that's right. In Dark Souls 3, you can call an Uber. And just like a real Uber, they will usually let you out in the shittiest locations. See, now here, like I said, I knew I could get into that on the back of that thing's back, but I didn't know what to expect. I have no idea what's going to happen here. Am I in for a fight? I mean, you know, what's going to happen? Like, okay, he's not attacking me, so...
Well, what's up? This pit is for hollows, not for the likes of you sane folk. Or perhaps you are a hollow, posing as otherwise? Yes, yes, then we are just fine. It's important to know who you are, but we'll all be mad soon enough. And should you be undead, well, all the more so. Beware, the shackles of the gods are fragile. You might need this. Etch it on your heart if you feel your sanity slipping. Come here to pile up your victims, for that will form your anchor. You'll see when you go mad. They'll be your family. You'll go mad one day. But take my advice. Use this bone and leave this place. This pit is for hollows, and for the occasion you've better things to do. This pit is for hollows. You've better things.
I always like to make sure I run their dialogues out. Now, to find a way out of here. And there doesn't seem to be one, so yeah, just use a homeward bone here. If there is a way out, I am not aware of it. So, you know, hey, if you've played this game and you know a way out of here other than just using a homeward bone, let me know and put it in the comments below. Alright, back at Firelink, we've got some souls.
Very well. Then touch the dark. Take nourishment from...
And I was just barely under what I needed to actually level up.
Farewell, Ashen One. May the flames...
I did have a few souls, though, that I could use here. A Fading Soul, and then whatever the other one is there.
Welcome home. Speak then. Very well. Then touch the Ignari.
So let's head to level 26 and going on my dexterity because that is what I'm going to be needing for my bowls. Oh, nope. Decided to do strength this time. Not sure why I did that. But I'm sure I had a reason at the time.
Farewell, Ashen One. May the flames guide thee.
Just trying to figure out a better shield to use. Even though I don't really use a shield, I still like to kind of carry one. You never know when it could be handy. I actually don't really start using a shield very much until much later in the game. Time to buy some arrows.
How may...
I spend so many souls on arrows.
Be sure to bring more souls.
Heavens. 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 She was already dead.
No point in talking to Grey Rat. I don't really have enough to really buy anything he has, so... No upgrades I can do.
All that unkindled, and I am Ludleth of Corland. Look not in bewilderment as I say. I linked the if substantiation be thy want, set this sad cadaver. Listen, before I was a Lord of Cinder, I was a student the process of extracting and coalescing the essence of a soul, a forbidden art that once left a. 'Tis an art that grants powers once thought unattainable. Most transposing kilns were lost with Corland, but this place is a crossing for all manner of cursed objects. If thou happenst upon a transposing kiln, listen, before I was the if thou... Now, do not be away over long.
Ooh, good. The fire. What do you really know about these lords of... Let's take Aldrich, for one. A right and proper cleric. Only he developed a habit of devouring men. He ate so many that he bloated like a drowned pig, then softened into sludge. So they stuck him in the Cathedral of the Deep, and they made him a Lord of Cinder, not for virtue, but for might. Such as a lord, I suppose. But here I ask, do we have a sodding chance? At the foot of Lothric Castle, an old path still runs below the tower in the Undead Settlement. It was used to transport sacrifices to the Cathedral of the Deep. If you've the stones for it.
Ah, so we now know that there's a hidden path somewhere. Or supposedly a hidden path.
Heavens, she was already dead.
Apparently,
Heavens.
She was already dead.
Oh, our champion.
This is the guy that you can find at the beginning of Undead Settlement if you go left instead of through the gate where the dogs were. So he is hidden in a bunch of these guys who are apparently all dried up and just husks. He's the only one that seems to be alive.
And I never would have, had you not taken me into yourself. I thank you dearly for this, and assure you. Then shall we begin? Bearer of the dark sign, let your true strength shine.
He can give you a free level up as well, so that's great to take advantage of. Gotta raise that dexterity so that my bows will do more damage. Strength does help with the bows as well, but dexterity is really what you want to put into it for the short bow.
Be safe.
Heavens.
See, I haven't really explored Firelink Shrine too well, so that's pretty much what I was doing here. A lot of stuff has happened since the last time I was actually here at Firelink and messing around with it, so that's why I wanted to kind of look around and kind of do this. But we've done everything we pretty much can here, so it is time to head back to the Undead Settlement and see where our path can take us from there. So I will see you guys in the next episode back in the Undead Settlement. Thank you so much for watching, and I am out of here. Later, guys. Hey everyone, if you'd like to help support me and my channel, I have a Patreon page where you can do just that. You can pledge anything from $1 or more. Anyone who pledges $15 or more gets a unique, specially designed roller coaster and Planet Coaster made just for them. My little way of saying thanks. You can also just send donations as well if you don't want to join Patreon. And you can find those links in the video description below. Every tiny red cent I make from these means the world to me and is extremely helpful. If you're interested in my PC setup that I work with and play on that you see here, every piece of the system is described below with links to Amazon if you want to purchase them or anything else. Thanks for tuning in to my videos and my channel. If you aren't already a subscriber, click that on the screen below. And you can also check out a few of my other videos on the screen here as well. You can keep up to date on what's going on in my own little world via Twitter or watch me stream live on Twitch as well. Links are in the video description below. So wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night.